Today we are going to review Hollywood movie Taken 3. Taken 3 begins with CIA operative Brian Mills realizing that surprising his college-age daughter Kim for her birthday is not exactly part of his now famous particular set of skills. It's a courtesy touch that points to producer Luc Besson's ham-fisted attempt to introduce some variety into the latest entry in his money-raking franchise. So replacing the first two films' simplistic man-on-the-run premise with a stuttering plot comparatively light on action and stuffed with red herrings and inconsequential characters, Besson's team has signed off the trilogy with a whimper rather than the kind of unfettered bang delivered by the first two films. So that may compromise the movie's performance at the box office as it unspools internationally. So strangely, Besson and his long-running series co-writer Robert Mark Kamin seem to have overlooked the one thing that made Taken and Taken 2 tick: the appeal of leading man Neeson, the anguished and aging action hero who tries with solitary and superhuman effort to save his family. So the franchise's premise is slightly different from the very beginning, as nobody gets abducted in Taken 3. Instead, Mills hurtles across Los Angeles partially to evade Lam and wrongly convinced he has killed his ex-wife, so Leonore, and also to look for, find and kill those who framed him of the murder. So those expecting Mills to tear around town like he did in Paris and Istanbul in the first two films will be disappointed. Apart from minor pyrotechnics in some buildings and a pile up on the 710 Los Angeles is spared excessive mayhem. That's because the flow of the action is repeatedly interrupted by Mills' needless clandestine meetups and Kim, and by sequences of Detective Frank Dolzer either pondering the alleged murder while eating bagels or ordering around his underlinings. So these digressions deflate the tension that kept the film two Taken installments float as pieces of relentless high-octane spectacle. So with Mills no longer dashing around as much, the viewer has more time to be bothered by the implausibility and illogic of the narrative. So visually, Taken 3 offers more of the same, in line with the plethora of aerial shots that marked his first stab at the series in Taken 2. Director Oliver Megaton basically deploys more of the same here, somewhat credibly. The film even ends with the exact same Malibu Pier shot that concluded the previous film while adept at bombastic action scenes. The French director of Transporter 3 and Colombiana struggles to come up with imaginative ways to play out some of the drama the complicated plot calls for. So there is a notable lack of subtlety. For instance, in the crucial relationship between Kim and her stepfather Stuart, or in the hackneyed flashback sequence outlining the personal background of the film's villain, over-the-top Russian gangster Oleg Malenko. Compared to the first two entries, Taken 3 has in some ways matured and mellowed, with politically incorrect racial stereotypes that were flagrant in the earlier films no longer apparent this time around.